Hi, Cancer Sun and Rising. Welcome to your October 2024 Astro Update. It's Rena here. So when we enter, I was going to say Cancer season, Libra season, this is a fellow cardinal sign that squares you off. So we already know that it's falling in one of these angular houses. Well, in this case, we're talking about the fourth house of home and family. This is the house that you rule in astrology. So you have a particular affinity with this area of life. So on the 2nd of the month, we have a solar eclipse at 10 degrees of Libra. This can indicate major changes on the home front for Cancer individuals. There may be, yes, definitely, it could indicate a move, shakeups of some sort. I feel that because this is a powerful new moon, that this could bring in a lot of opportunities for you in the area of real estate, in the area of maybe home-based endeavors. I suppose it could even be working from home in some cases. And so pay attention to the kind of things that present themselves even in September, because that can be when it actually manifests for some of you. And definitely give attention to this area of life, although I think a lot of Cancer people do that already, because there may be something that wants you to pay attention to it. The fourth house is also your childhood, the past, and something may come up for you that you realize it's like an aha moment. It's like some kind of something that was that was obscured by other things. Remember that the fourth house is a water house in astrology, so the emotions can sometimes obscure our understanding of something intellectually that helps us make sense of it. So in this case, making sense of the past. On the 9th of the month, Jupiter goes retrograde at 21 degrees of Gemini. This is another water house. This is the 12th house that Pisces rules in astrology, and Jupiter is an ancient ruler of Pisces. So a lot of the Sagittarius, 9th house kind of stuff we can also attribute to the 12th house. But basically, when Jupiter is transiting your 12th house, you may feel compelled to engage in some kind of spiritual studies, for instance. And when Jupiter goes retrograde, it's asking you to go within. So, for instance, sometimes, I'm not saying that this happens all the time, but sometimes when people are embarking on some kind of a spiritual, like study, course of studies or what have you, they're really looking for this, they're looking for safety in some kind of a belief system, and Jupiter can be these belief systems. And sometimes, when a planet goes retrograde, it's going within ourselves. So we're bringing it back down, back to us personally. And in the case of Jupiter, it can be about our values or our belief systems, and how do they ultimately benefit us. Because if a person is on the spiritual path, but they still have addictions, for instance, and that's 12th house, we can see that there is this contradiction or this area that is not in alignment. And this is something that a person needs to really address, because I'm not saying that you can't still help others, that you have to be perfect to help others, but some of these things, I do believe that there has to be a certain amount of discipline in that person's life in order for them to even be able to see things clearly. And that means the highest level of judgment. And so the 12th house can be like escapism, and of course addiction is a form of escapism, but other things are as well. And substance abuse isn't the only form of escapism. It can be like codependency, or it can be any kind of if I was going to say even like video games or watching too many movies or something like that. Whatever the person's doing excessively to avoid facing their feelings and all of that, that can be escapism. So looking at that and seeing how that might apply to you and being able to transcend that, and how it pertains to your spiritual journey as well. On the 11th, Pluto goes direct at 29 degrees of Capricorn. This is in your 7th house of committed partnership. And this is very interesting because what it can mean is that people are, Cancers are dealing with relationship issues. Some of you may have even gotten divorced during this past 15 years to someone, and now you realize with Pluto retrograding in this 7th house that it takes two to tango, because this can be power struggles. And so you may have seen or reflected upon how you participated in all of that. And going forward, you're never going to have this again in your lifetime. When Pluto goes into this, back into Aquarius, which is your 8th house, you're never going to have it go back into your 7th house. And you might go, thank God. But on the other hand, it may have had a profoundly transformative effect on how you view relationships. I think more than a few Cancer people tend to be codependent, and having Pluto in the 7th house can make you aware of, even on a subtle level, those power plays that couples can do with each other, as well as kind of get down deep dive with the psychological stuff within a relationship. And sometimes the relationship doesn't survive it because perhaps one of the parties, or even I guess both of them, you could say sometimes, don't have the wherewithal to be able to face themselves at that level. So anyway, this Pluto going direct here can bring some sense of relief, I feel, and in about 5 weeks it will go back into Aquarius and into that 8th house. Although that could be the frying pan into the fire when Pluto goes into your 8th. But I survived it. I know that much, so I'm sure you can too. On the 13th, Mercury goes into Scorpio, speaking of Pluto and all that. And for you, this is your 5th house of love and creativity. So if you are a writer, you might start to pick up that pen. If you are someone who is crushing on someone, you may be in contact with that person. You're going to have a new moon here in November, but you might simply be kind of conversing. On the 17th, Venus goes into Sagittarius, which is for you, this is the 6th house of work, as well as your health. Venus can be having harmony in the workplace, can be getting a raise. Venus can be money. It can be love in the workplace. It can also be I call this the Vitamix transit, where you spend money on a luxury item that is connected to health. So you might be splurging on workout equipment or something along those lines. On the very same day, we have a full moon at 24 degrees of Aries. So another angular house, this time the 10th house of career. Well, that's amazing because you have Venus in the 6th house and the full moon in the 10th. And these two things could together could definitely be like a raise and a promotion. The 10th house of career, the full moon here could bring recognition, some kind of elevated position. If you're retiring, Venus in the 6th could be an exit package, or if you're ending a career for whatever reason. All these things, it's interchangeable sometimes, 10th and 6th in terms of work. Getting an exit package or a retirement bonus, or maybe just like a bonus of some sort. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Scorpio, into that 5th house. This is the house of fun, and the sun rules the 5th house in astrology. So this, for the next month, Cancer, this can be a time when you are just having a ball, doing fun things that you like, that don't involve, work. This is the house of the activities that you do that are for leisure time. And, going back to somebody who's retiring, for instance, you may have this kind of like a honeymoon period where you're just like, I'm just going to have fun every day. I'm going to do something because, it's like your freedom. And then maybe you decide to tackle some projects. The 6th house, when the sun goes into Sagittarius, that will be the 6th house for you. And then maybe you're getting down to brass tacks and back into this kind of work mode. Or even if you're like in between jobs and you're like, you know what, I'll look for a job later, but right now I'm just having some fun. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a personal reading, I have some package deals, and I have single readings, with natal chart interpretation, transits, career, life path. I put those together. Love, and looking at your child's natal chart, and tarot. So you can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for listening. Bye.